Nope. Oh, that's a bad crash. Alright, welcome back. So today I've got all the studs on the wheels, mounted them up, ran across a problem. That's why I'm test fitting, is that when I go to drive this one wheel, the nut is hitting the upper length, and I had a feeling I was going to run into that problem. That's why I was offsetting them. But it doesn't always work that way because these wheels are so soft, they're not perfectly round. So we're gonna have to deal with that. On top of that, see how sometimes it passes, sometimes it doesn't. And I still have to get the nuts on there. So I had to go pick up some more nuts because I only had 10, and there's 10 per wheel. So I got non-locking nuts because the locking nuts are even taller and they're hitting. So that's what I'm going to work on today. Always run into problems. I might have to put a washer behind each wheel, kind of like I do on the Power Hobbies wheels. Just a brass washer. The front is actually wider than the rear, so I might have to go ahead and do that. But let's get into it. Let's see what we need to do to get this fixed so I can get it outside and get it testing and see how it does. And definitely don't leave these on the table as well, because what I found is when it sits overnight sitting on these wheels, this thing is super heavy. There is a lot of weight because I've added a ton of weight to the front of this thing, plus the batteries, plus the ADAS system, plus the wheelie bar. All this stuff is adding weight to this RC. And this RC has become a very, very heavy. So heavy, in fact, that when I ran it on road, you can see it ate up the foam on the edge trying to turn. It's literally just trying to push the foam tires. And then I worked on another setup to where I'm going to take a set of foams and I'm putting, these are longer, I'm going to put probably 6 or 7 of these just down the center of the foam. This is a test foam, it had split. So I'm going to bolt a set of these up as well and try these, running it down the center, and then I don't have the problem of hitting link because it's in the center. I'm using half of the cleats, and then I still have the foam tire, which is going to kind of balance out a lot better than doing this. Plus, when this sinks in the grass, it's just using the tip of this plus the foam, so I should get really good traction that way. That's another idea when doing this. Sometimes you change things around, so these are actually longer cleats, just a little longer to compensate for the foam. So as you see, I kind of drilled out the foam and stuffed one of these in here to test fit it to see if it was going to work. I'm trying to find an easy way to drill out the foam to where the cleat will still pinch it to kind of hold the foam down, because whenever foam splits or you have a spot like this, it loves to lift, and foam sitting over time will shrink and cause a split like this. So I have plenty of foams, used foams to test that, but that's going to be another set that I'm doing on top of just doing the cleats drilled to a rim. So I'm going to get one of these off. And I think what I should do first is put in a brass washer. So just these little brass washers. These are for clamping down brake lines to calipers, is what they are. What I don't like about them on these cheap wheels, if this hex isn't deep enough, then it will cause an issue. And that rear wheel is the one that loves to come off. So I have a lot of Loctite on it. So you just put the little washers in here, and that kicks it out usually enough to clear. And then we're going to torque it down and see if we still have it hitting. And then I'm going to put on the nuts, because the studs stick well past the nuts. And then I'm going to trim the 5 that are to the inner, and I shouldn't have to trim the 5 that are on the outer. Oh, we are still hitting. So I'm going to start on these wheels first, do the rear first, and then we'll move on to the front. So I am going to have to Loctite these things as well. And then I did see a lot of comments that people said these things were going to rip out. I honestly don't see it not ripping out. Some were saying add washers, but problem with adding a washer, I mean, the washer would have to be bigger than the nut, and the inner ones, because of where they're drilled, you can't get them past the spoke, so that's not going to work. And if I drill them more in, it creates a flat spot. And I might have to add Loctite to these things, depending. Definitely going to have to grind some of that plastic off. They do thread into the plastic, but they don't have any nuts on the backside right now. I don't want to take off too much plastic because I don't want it out of balance. So all I'm doing is shaving a flat spot in it so the cleat can go back in and sit perfectly flat, because I don't want them angled, and that'll give me more bite and more strength on the cleats. Yeah, and there's a lot more threads showing through on the backside. And these nuts are going to add weight to this wheel, which is going to kind of compensate, because the wheels are pretty light like this. So it's going to compensate for the rubber being missing. Now, I honestly, somebody was saying, well, the cleat's going to shoot off and it's, you know, going to become dangerous. I think I saw that comment. But that's just like a wheel coming off. And I honestly don't think the cleat is going to pull out, but anything's possible. anything can happen. It kind of creates a flat spot. See how the cleat is nice and flat now? But you can see the nut right there. As you see, it creates a little flat spot because it's curved on the rim, and that flat spot is what's hitting the knuckle. See? Now that it's sticking down and tight, it's hitting. So we are going to have to Dremel the threads off of that as well, so that we can get in there. So as you see, it's now shaved down. See if it hits. And it clears. So we're going to have to do that to all the outer ones. So it is going to take some time to get these built, especially the way I'm doing it. And then I also noticed some of the ones I drilled, they have the plastic pushed in, so I got to cut the plastic off because you can't have the plastic sticking down. The biggest worry I have is that the plastic part of the cleat might come off. This metal insert is molded into this plastic. Now it's possible that the plastic breaks off, but then you'll be left with a little metal stud, which is still going to bite as long as it stays in the rim. So we're going to get some more of these things ground down. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Just figured I'd keep you guys updated. Let me get this done, and then we'll turn the camera back on. Hopefully I can get out testing here in a minute. All right, stay tuned. All right, so I got one completed. What I've done is I've shaved all the outer ones, and those are a standard nut, and then I run 5 locking nuts on the inside ones over here. So we got locking nuts on the inside because they're not coming close to the upper links. And then what I wanted to do was check balance, because the way they're installed is each stud, each one of these is at a spoke. So the outer one's at this spoke, the inner one's at this spoke, outer spoke, inner spoke, outer spoke, trying to balance out the wheel. And then running the heavier ones on the inside seems to do pretty good. So as you see, no vibration. Nice and smooth. The rim is a little out around, but for the most part, that's pretty good, which is going to help at the higher speeds, running at the 100. Now, if we can get the shock dampening right, or the grass padding the stiffness here, and remember, this is going to flex. This is really a soft rim. So what I'm worried about is the ones at the top pulling, like they're gonna pull this way. It's not, I don't think it's gonna pull these nuts out. But you know, you never know. I think the plastic can pull out, but I don't see with all this flexibility at just 100 miles an hour it pulling out. But we'll know very shortly. So one wheel is complete. I have enough hardware to do 3 more. And then when it comes to my foam concoction, I've got to get nuts for those. And I don't have enough cleats to do a full set. I have enough to do 1 wheel. So I got to go find some more cleats, the longer cleats. Because like I said, these cleats are a lot longer than I'm going to use for the foams. And Big 5, I've pretty much bought all their cleats that they have. So I gotta find another Big 5 or another sporting goods place to get more cleats to finish up the foam tires. But I'm hoping to get these on and out today, because this one is complete and balanced. So I'm going to bolt it down and see if it hits anymore. And as you see, shaving them, and it literally, the nut sinks into the plastic a little bit. That's how soft the plastic is, or how flexible the plastic is. So there we go. I'm going to get the other ones built, and we'll turn the camera back on. All right. So I got all the wheels on and balanced. Now I'm going to run it and see if there's any vibration. Going on here? So I don't see any vibration. So none of them seem to be shooting out. It's a good sign. Next thing we can do is road test it. So I did balance it. I'm 6 hours into it now. This is the stuff I use to balance it, which is lead weight, and then I tape it from the inside. I had to balance 3 out of the 4. So other than that, used blue Loctite on the ones that weren't self-locking. On the rear 2 tires, I had to shave down these inner ones to stop hitting these links. So I had to Dremel all the inner ones right here, all these inner spokes, so that they didn't hit the link. So that took some time. So literally, I want to say, and then I do have spacers in the rear to bring the wheels out just a little bit. So as long as the rims, the hexes don't strip out, I think we'll do okay. Other than that, we're all ready. Today's pretty much gone. I think 6 hours into balancing, dremeling, cutting, getting lock nuts and lock washers all installed. Had to shave this lip off of each wheel so that the cleat would sit flat, so ground just where the the cleat is to get rid of this lip right here. Other than that, I think we're good to go. And as you see, spinning it up, it's not bouncing, so it's not out of balance. So if it bounces on the road, it's going to be, like I said, I got one finger in between each of these spokes. They're evenly placed, and now they're balanced. I'm probably going to add more weight to the front of the RC. But there we go. I'm going to get everything charged up, and we're going to get out and run the Mojave. And I got several messages because Kevin posted his video of going 101 mile an hour. So we're going to go ahead and he says he's not going to do another off-road challenge till somebody beats that time. So we're going to shoot for 102 and better. Hoping for 110. So I'm going to gear up for that ratio. Because as you see in his video, after his 101, he couldn't back it up because the tires were coming off. So he did bolt on another set of tires and went slower because, like I told people, I'm using the plastic rims and I'm trying to keep the overall height, which are, you know, like the foams. They're actually bigger than the foam tires. So they're a little taller than the foams, but they are the same as the Pro line. And all I'm trying to do is replicate this with less bumps on it, no more expansion, no more dealing with broken tires. So I honestly believe that these cleats are going to be able to handle the pressure, but we'll see with the impacts on grass. The slow starts, I think, is where it's going to take the most beating on the cleat. Plus, this RC is really heavy. So a lot of people were saying, well, you know, you can't compare a cleat to a 200-pound football player, but you got to remember, kids that are 20, 30, 40 pounds in the pee-wees are out there using cleats as well. So this RC at this weight should be fine. Cleat only has to dig in as much as it needs for the weight of the RC, and that's what's good about a cleat. Cleats work whether you're 20 pounds or 200 pounds. So there we go. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know down in the comments. What do you think? Does it look promising? Are we going to hit 102 mile an hour? Get Kevin Talbert back out there trying to back up his run. Now remember, this is an RTR. This is a sold RC car that anybody can replicate. And I guess if you had, you know, $5,000, you can build a snowboard, buy a snowboard, some Max 4 combos, and 2 Outcast 8S, and you can slap one together too. But this is definitely going to be affordable, and it's definitely an RC and not a snowboard. But I love hearing the comments. Love hearing what you guys think. Tomorrow we'll find out if this works. If this doesn't work, this style that I'm waiting on some longer cleats. Haven't got to big 5 today. There we go. So I'm going to go to the longer cleat. I did try it with the shorter cleat. Maybe that's the way to go. Longer cleat's going to give me less rotation mass is what I'm hoping. So all I'm going to do is draw a line here, make an X, cut it into a pie, and wherever the dots hit, that's where we're going to put it. So it's going to be probably, what is it, 4, 8. It'll be 8 cleats per tire on the foams, and then it won't seek in as far because of the foam padding. But we'll see. This is a solid ram. You know, it's a lot stronger than I think these Proline wheels. But we'll see. All I can do is build and try. And I think I'm, what, 12 hours into doing these wheels. That includes driving down, buying the stuff, going to Home Depot, all that stuff, and then having to go to a hardware store. So there we go. Like, comment, subscribe. Catch you guys on my next video. Thanks for watching.